Hey, vets and families, it's Craig here, and I want to invite you to a video series that I'm doing, and I'm calling it Write It Right. 7 Proven Ways to Win Your VA Claim with Lay and Buddy Statements. The Buddy Statement, or the Lay Statement, particularly the veteran's personal statement, is perhaps one of the most important parts of a VA claim. It's the veteran's opportunity to tell their story about the injuries that they sustained or incurred while on active duty. Now, before we get into the series, there's one thing that I want to note about both buddy and lay statements, personal statements, witness statements from the veteran. When a veteran has someone write a witness statement for them or a buddy statement for them, it has to go on a VA form called the VA form 21-TAC 10210. This is the lay or witness statement. And then when the veteran writes their own personal statement, it has to go on a form called the VA form 21-4138. It's the statement in support of claim. Now, in this particular statement, the veteran, again, has a chance to list not only the thing that happened to them, but then any diagnosis or any documentation or any medical doctor's visits or prescription drugs that they've taken for that particular incident that occurred while they were on active duty. What this helps to do is establish a nexus between the veteran service and what they're experiencing now so that they can win compensation on their claim. And once the veteran writes this letter and includes it into their packet, it becomes a part of their overall claim, whether they're submitting an initial claim or whether they're submitting a supplemental claim. Now, it's important to note that I'm going to provide in this video series different styles, different techniques on how to write your statements. But regardless of what style or technique that you choose, it's important that each veteran make sure that they provide specific examples of how their condition or their injury specified during service absolutely affects their daily normal functioning life. And whenever you write a statement and submit it to the VA, as always, you have to sign and date that statement to verify accuracy that it's actually you that's writing a claim. Now, I also want to let you know that this series is not just to be able to write better letters in order to win VA compensation claims, although that definitely is the goal and the primary aim. But the ultimate aim, and our ultimate aim here at Royal Rock Counseling and Consulting, is that we help veterans have the opportunity and develop the skills to be able to express themselves better and to be able to live better lives post military service. And so doing this series and helping you be able to express your feelings and thoughts and put pen to paper on what's going on in your mind, it's going to help you in professional, occupational, emotional, mental, and physical spaces in every other area of life. So if you like this content, if you enjoy what we're doing here at Royal Rock Wellness, what I want you to do is I'd like you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment on the video, and share it with other veterans who might need these tools and resources in order not just to get good VA compensation claims, but in order to level up and be the very best version of themselves that they can be. I believe in you. I want you to win. I'll be offering free resources and guides. And if you need help with any part of your VA claim, or if you need help with any coaching or counseling issues, I'm here for you to make sure that you live royally and live well. I want you to take care of your families, sit back, relax, and enjoy this series that we're bringing to you. Hello, vets and families. Welcome back. Welcome back. That's Military Families. Listen, I don't know if you're ready. But I'm ready. If you are ready to reclaim your purpose, to strengthen your relationships, to start to live royally, live well, live the life that you want and the life that you deserve, then you're in the right place at the right time, right now, to hear this video. So let's get into today's video that will help us live royally and live well. Today's statement style that we're going to discuss is historical lay statements. Now, historical lay statements show us a link from service trauma to today's disability. This matters in a lot of ways because a lot of VA claims fail because the continuity of symptoms isn't clear. And remember, if you've seen any videos or know anything about this channel, we talk about in certain circumstances, right? Particularly when you talk about the fourth leg of the stool for a favorable VA claim, you're talking about continuity and continuance of symptoms. So historical lay statements help you get that done. They help you establish that. So we want to cover that today. So let's get into it. What is a historical lay statement, first and foremost, right? So a historical lay statement is a timeline-styled personal or buddy statement. A timeline style. Think of, you ever seen those chronological timelines in history books that you read, or those chronological timelines, even in newspaper articles or magazine articles that has a 1950, 1960, 1970, right? So it's that, but transpose your experience onto that timeline, right? And that's the historical lay statement, right? You are giving a history, or you're giving an overview, and you're giving a just sort of you're sitting down, like, by the campfire, and you're telling an oral traditional story about what happened to you. Okay, so that's what historical lay statement is. This is what it does. This is where it's helpful. It tracks the incident, connecting to the symptoms, that connects to the treatment diagnosis. It may be one of the most powerful statements that you can use, powerful statement styles that you can use. The others are powerful as well, but depending on what type of experiences you have, historical statements can be very powerful. This acts as a storyline for the VA reviewer, a line, right? A storyline. Remember, narrative statements tell a story, right? They tell a story of experience, but historical statements give a story line across a chronological time. This helps establish the nexus when medical records alone don't connect the dots. Historical lay statements is probably the most prescribed to use to give time frames, and dates for things that might be missing from the medical record. So let's remember that. Why does service nexus matter? And this is ad infinitum, because we've talked about this quite a bit. Nexus equals a connection between military service and the current condition. This is where a lot of veterans fail, and this is where the historical lay statement and your personal claim can really, really help you out. Okay? Without it, the VA often denies the claim because they can't find um, any kind of relationship to what you experienced in the military to what you're experiencing now. Right? I can tell you that here's a really small tip. Like, if you are filing a claim for anything else, whether that be Social Security, disability, workman's comp, it really doesn't matter. You got to be able to establish a connection between an event or an injury that happened while you were in service, or in the case of workman's comp, while you were working, or in the case of SSDI, during your lifespan, right? That resulted in something that you're experiencing now. A strong historical lay statement can fill in the gaps and really help left by any missing records. Especially helpful for PTSD, which really PTSD is now PTS. It's just post-traumatic stress, trying to take away the stigma of the D, calling everything a disorder. But post-traumatic stress, military sexual trauma, and long-term physical injuries, what PTSD and MST claims are. Now, MST claims, listen, when we do videos about forms, when we talk about MST, MSA, and MSV, right? Those acronyms are military sexual violence, military sexual assault, military sexual trauma. When we talk about those things, all of those things are PTSD secondary. That'll be the secondary condition to PTSD, right? PTSD secondary to those things, right? I want to make sure I have it the right way around. Um, so you'll fill out the secondary form. It's an actual form that you will put your statement on, all right? And then also long-term physical injuries. Let's talk about the power of actually having a timeline. We talked about it a little bit before, but here's the power. This shows how the events connect across the years, right? Especially if it's been a long time. Here's a good example flow. In 2005, I had an IED blast that resulted in migraines that I had in 2010. Maybe even 5 years experience migraines and not even knowing where it's coming from. And then I had a TBI, having a TBI diagnosis in 2022, obviously resulting from the migraines, tests being conducted, pain being experienced, right? Traumatic brain injury being diagnosed. Another was 2001 sexual trauma, resulting in panic attacks, resulting in a 2015 PTSD diagnosis secondary to the primary military sexual trauma. Each milestone that you can show and on that timeline, and even I've even got the slides built like arrows to another thing, right? Arrows connecting the time frames in the chronological order. Each milestone will build credibility. Now, you can also use military records. You can reference deployment dates, locations, unit info, and military occupational specialty. You can link the symptoms to specific duty assignments. A really, really good example of this is PACT Act claims. Okay, any PACT Act claims: exposure to burn pits, exposure to Agent Orange, radiation. A lot of times the VA will look at if a veteran was assigned in a particular geographical location during that time, and those would be considered presumptive conditions. Presumptive conditions. And, we know what presumptive conditions are. Again, I'll do a video about presumptive conditions and Gulf War illness and all of those kinds of things. But having a statement will help. And even if you can prove you were over there during that time, if you don't have medical evidence, a strong statement can really help you out in these instances. For example, while I was deployed to Fallujah in 2005, and then you fill in the blanks of what happened during that time. And the reality is the VA, the Department of Defense, everybody knows that during those specific times in those specific areas, there were things going on that the veteran wouldn't need to be dishonest about, right? There were things happening during those times. And so you want to make sure that those things occurred to you, right? Happened to you if you put them in your statement, and you use a historical timeline to put it together. You always want to include, remember, for everything we include daily struggles, right? Again, you tie your symptoms to real life impact, right? Everything we talked about before, right? You want to tie those symptoms to real life impact. Here's a sample statement for a historical lay statement that you could use. This is a simple sample statement. In 2005, while serving in Iraq, my vehicle was hit by an IED. I began having severe headaches in the month after. See how that timeline is? It says it gives a year, and then it says right after that, severe headaches. By 2010, the headaches worsened, and I sought treatment at the VA hospital. It's giving you a location, it's giving you a time, and it's giving you a date range. In 2022, I was formally diagnosed. There's a diagnosis with TBI. These symptoms have persisted since my deployment. These symptoms have persisted since my deployment. I don't know how many veterans I've helped get to the maximum level of compensation by just using that phrase. Symptoms have persisted. Symptoms occurred during military service. Symptoms occurred as a result of military service. I'm giving you some golden nuggets here. Hope you're picking them up. And I want you to notice these are clear dates, plus they show a progression of symptoms over time. That's what a historical analysis and statement can do for you. Here are some mistakes to avoid. Don't assume the VA will connect the dots for you. You got to connect those dots. Don't leave out key dates or transitions. Don't just write, I've always had this problem. By the way, I feel the need for another sidebar. Let me speak directly to anyone who might be feeling or experiencing levels of mental health pain, levels of mental health confusion, levels of mental health concern or conditions as a result of something that has been experienced. I'm going to drop a link in the description of this one for you to get help if you need to, because someone might be watching this video and they're about to submit a claim for PTSD or MST or MSA, MSP, which we will also do videos about that as well. And you might be thinking, I want to submit this claim, but I don't know if I'm ready to go back down that road. I would encourage you highly and highly suggest and recommend that you get help, not just for writing this claim, but also just to assist you in your daily life and to kind of to get through some of these things that I know you're experiencing as a result of the things that happen to you. And I want to say that just because those things happen to you does not mean your life is over. So be encouraged, hang in there. Do spell out the chain of events. So think of it as a chain connecting link by link by link. And that's your historical lay statement. That's your historical timeline. And that is your historical story that you're going to tell the VA, including all the documents and giving them everything that they need so that you can have a just and favorable claim. Here's some tips for strong statements. Be specific with times, places, and changes in symptoms. Keep it chronological. Chronological order, right? A happened, and then B happened, or number one happened, or first this happened, and then secondly this happened, and then this is the date that happened, right? Make sure your dates are in chronological order. Include medical visits, prescriptions, and diagnoses, and end with how it affects your life today. What's the thing that you've seen in all of our videos? ADLs, daily functioning, activities of daily living. How is this affecting your life right now? Right? Is it giving you the ability to do what you desire to do and how you desire to move and function to provide for your family, to care for your loved ones, to enjoy life? If it's affecting that, then you want to include that in your historical statement. Have a big picture goal when you consider historical statements. It doesn't just help the VA. It helps you to tell your full story. It builds a bridge from who you were in service to what you're living with now. To who you were in service to what you're living with now. Remember, it talks about a change in the consistent quality of life, right? All of us, and I'm a veteran, I sit with you, I grieve with you, I lament with you, I'm one with you. All of us have experienced a change as a result of being in the military. So those changes have been mental, physical, emotional, social, occupational. Everybody has experienced a change. This historical statement builds a bridge between what once was and what is now, and what looks to be in the future as a result of your service. So this supports healing as well as compensation. It's two wings on a plane. Healing and compensation, right? Need both wings to fly. I want to thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so we can help more veterans build the claims that they need to build in order to get the compensation that they deserve. Your watching of this video and sharing it with other people really helps the cause of helping veterans build a life of purpose after service and living royally and living well. So I would ask you to do that and join me on this journey to help all our brothers and sisters in arms who have served faithfully and honorably so that they can live the life that they deserve. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.